Well, with this special that we're doing, it's a thank you to all the sponsors that did the joint promotion between the Marana Chamber and Tucson Business Radio X in reference to raising some funds for impact that's desperately needed, not only just now in the COVID-19 times, but most times. They do a terrific job, Impact of Southern Arizona. And this is going to help along those lines. So we're interviewing the various sponsors of the directory that went out to 50,000 on the email blast. And it's a way of saying thank you and to get to meet them. And one of the sponsors was Don Zavis. And Don Zavis is a well-known trainer out and about and all around Arizona, Southern Arizona, and across America. And his representative is John Waechter. Good morning, John. Welcome.
Good morning, Mark. Glad to be here.
You're a seasoned business executive, entrepreneur, and organizational consultant, and you've got 40 years of experience with consumer and industrial manufacturing, healthcare, small business, Fortune 500 companies, and a lot more. One would say a wealth of experience, John.
Yeah, I've been around a little bit. That's very true. I don't want to date myself, but yeah, I've been around a while.
Okay, so what's your current focus? I mean, you're obviously working with Don, so you can share what you do with him there.
Yeah, sure. Well, Don Zavis Sales Training has been basically an entity that has several offices around the country since around 2006, and he's got offices in Detroit for the Great Lakes area, Tucson for the Arizona Southwest area, as well as San Diego. And I've been partnering with him in the last couple of years to assist him in his curriculum, as well as classroom presentation and just general overall client assistance.
Well, you have extensive experience in the basic business disciplines of marketing, sales, operations, finance, accounting, and human resources. You've got an all-round terrific background. This would help you profusely in working the system with Don, I would imagine. You also hold a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and an MBA in long-range planning. Do you think business has changed a lot in your eyes over the last 10 years, John?
The need for relationships hasn't changed as that much. I mean, business is still business, but the approach and the tools we use are so different now with technology, and the things that we can do on a like right now on a Zoom basis, the things that we can do that just didn't exist 10 years ago is just amazing. And so the amount of productivity a business can get through in a specific amount of time has increased greatly. But in the end, it's still all about relationships, regardless how you develop them and how you keep them solid. People don't like to be sold, but they love to buy, and those types of emotional buying tendencies. It doesn't really change regardless if you're in a bricks and mortar or if you're in an online cart or whatever. So yeah, there's just a lot of the foundation hasn't changed that much, but just the tools have. Yeah.
Okay. Now you're also a certified predictive index practitioner and a certified talent optimizer. Please explain.
Yeah, the predictive index is a behavioral assessment, a data-driven workforce analytics behavioral assessment. It takes about 6 or 7 minutes to perform. It's free form, so there's no answering questions or anything like that. It's just allowing your brain to click boxes based upon the stimulus that the words actually effect on you. And so basically I call that, it ends up being the owner's manual to you. It shows you exactly what your basic drives are, and drives that basically lead to your needs. And then your needs actually is what controls your behaviors. And so if you we give one of these out to every one of our clients, as a starting point, because we want to know where their brain sits, what drives them, what their needs are, what their behaviors are, how predictable they're going to be, because that kind of tailors our one-on-one coaching to tailors how to navigate our one-on-one coaching with people.
Well, you partnered with Don Zavis Sales Training, and you've done this, since 2019 as an educator, trainer, and business coach. What does the firm actually specialize in?
The firm specializes in basically the fundamentals of sales training. Sales training, most people don't realize that there's a science behind it as well as an art, and it's not covered in any curriculum in higher education. And so you kind of take sales for granted. Either you're good in sales or you're not good in sales. Well, we have found that to be a totally that's just not the case. You can train to be a better salesperson. You can, we do sessions on telemarketing and lead generation and digital marketing, bonding and rapport, closing and presenting and time management and referrals.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to it, isn't there?
There's a lot of things to it. And we have weekly training sessions free to the public. Currently, they were classrooms. Previously, pre-pandemic, they were classroom settings that we would have anywhere from 10 to 30 people in them on a Friday morning. Now they're Zoom sessions every Friday morning at 9 a.m. And so this is where we cover all of this stuff. And then we have our monthly one-on-one personal coaching as well with our clients that we can really delve into their particular problem, where they need help with, because not everybody needs help with everything. They just need help with a certain type of thing, like they don't understand the importance of cold calling, or they don't understand the new technology in digital marketing. And we can help them through those challenges and give them the tools they need to go out there and be able to participate in those new technologies.
Well, it sounds like you actually provide a large multitude of tools to help them grow their business. Is this just small business, mom and pops, or medium size and through to major corporates as well?
The focus in the last couple of years has just kind of evolved into more small business, businesses with less than 25 employees. And what we've found is so many people have changed careers. They've either left their job willingly or taken a retirement package of some sort, and they've always had this desire to become an entrepreneur or what we might call a solopreneur. And so we've actually done a lot of organic growth in that particular cohort or demographic, as opposed to physically getting on an airplane and traveling to a corporate customer.
Well, the pandemic has affected everybody in business one way or another. And you mentioned before that you do, for instance, in normal times where you would do, 30 in a group. These are 30 individual business people or couples from a business. How do you, is it everything just gone to on camera with a Zoom type of a platform for you to be able to do this now? Or how do you do this?
That is, with the exception of the one-on-one coaching where we can social distance in a private room, that can still be on a traditional basis. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Right now, everything is Zoom. And it's we actually do the live broadcast on Zoom, and then we actually have on Vimeo, all of our sessions are archived every Monday after the Friday class, and those archives go back to weekly archives, so over 50 a year, going back 5 years to the beginning of 2016. So we have for clients that really want to really excel in their learning, we've got material that they can watch on video, and then they can call us up and ask questions, or they can ask for a Zoom. And so, yeah, it's now whether it comes back, Mark, or not, to the extent of previously, no one can tell. I don't have a crystal ball, but we definitely have a plan A and B and C to figure out, I mean, kind of in a predictive way for the future to see how it all starts carving out. So we've been dedicating an awful lot of time to survival in the COVID-19 pandemic. And we've even published articles on the 10 steps you can take now to prepare for the return of your business, or the things that you can do to make sure your customers are still with you when everybody resurfaces. Because a lot of people's customers are going to understand for the first time or realize, hey, they may not need you anymore because they've been living without you for 3 months, and they just may never come back, or they may come back with a certain hesitancy. You know, I've got clients that are salon owners, for example. A lot of their over 60 clients just haven't resurfaced yet. And they don't know if they're ever going to come back.
So what are you saying? That business should, regardless, in a situation like this, should be staying in touch continuously?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to stay in touch, and you have to basically create new ways to get in touch and stay in touch. And so if you never did do all of the social media stuff before, now's the time to pick that expertise up and start doing that, because you've got to find new ways to ping your customers, to remind them very subtly that you're still around, you're still available, you're still of great value to them. And if you don't do that, if you just disappear because that just seems like the thing to do is to disappear, well, then you'll disappear forever.
We're speaking with John Waechter, who's representing Don Zavis Training and Motivation on this special show that we're doing on the Thank You From Impact of Southern Arizona. And it's having interviews with the various business people and what they do, and they're quite diverse. It's interesting. John, let's talk about, you were touching before, you were speaking about today, IT is critical, and the pandemic has brought that to the fore even more so. But one thinks that there's still the good old press the flesh, look in the eyes, still be able to relate to a customer, eyeball to eyeball, talk to them. Let's talk about sales training today, where you guys how do you get around that issue? Do you get businesses asking you, oh, but look, I'm old fashioned and I like to deal with people face to face, How do you handle that?
There's no question that's a significant problem. It's a significant change from the way we do things. I mean, for crying out loud, there used to be pre-pandemic 2 and 3 large networking events every week for various chambers and what have you, and pressing the flesh is a great way to build a relationship. It's easier to build trust in a face-to-face environment, and so it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to adjust, but they're going to have to change. These are the times they are changing, to quote Bob Dylan, and basically we're just going to have to navigate through it. Sooner or later, some of the face-to-face conversations are going to come back. They're probably going to be with a mask, so the relationship will be eyes to eyes, not smile to smile, if you will, and no more really shaking hands at this stage or for the foreseeable future until maybe there's a vaccine. But yeah, I mean, you bring up an excellent point. It's difficult for a lot of people to create new relationships via a Zoom angle or any of the other tools like Facebook Live or Instagram, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And do you teach those? Does the Don Zavis curriculum incorporate this form of training?
Yeah, we do. We do. In fact, I'm in the middle of an 8-episode. We just started an 8-episode series on digital marketing, on the basics. Now, what I don't really do is I don't hold up a screen and tell people you got to click here and then you got to touch there and got to do that. But what I do introduce them to are the benefits, all the things that you can do, all the things that are free, how you have to look from a marketing standpoint at your processes and your touch points, and you have to be able to overlay that flow chart of customer touch points to the various marketing options that you have out there. So in other words, you might have a sales funnel with 4 touch points or a sales funnel with 15 touch points, and certain types of digital platforms are good for either or, but not both maybe. And so we kind of give people the perspective on how they have to change their thinking and look at their business a little differently in order to do successful digital marketing campaigns.
Okay, so that comes under sales training. Let's take business coaching, because it is different.
Yes, it is.
So let's talk about business coaching then.
Well, business coaching is more about your business model and the organization that you have in place to support yourself and your model. So sales is one portion of a business plan. There's no question it's a very important one. And there's also no question that sales and sales training are not covered very well at all from an educational standpoint in the community. But from a business coaching standpoint, we look a lot more at the talent of a business and the talent that you have around you. And we do a lot of network evaluation type of instruction, whereby we literally teach people how to determine who's a successful part of your network and who can help you. But and then we also tell them that we also give them tools that they can evaluate who's not a contributing part of your network. And those non-contributing parts of your network are time wasters for you. So you either have to have a very honest conversation that, we're going to go here, here, and here, or sometimes you just have to end those relationships and find other people that are more aligned with what you're trying to do. Talent optimization comes right in there because, a lot of people have the human capital to do what they do from a numbers standpoint. They just don't have the right butts in the right seats. And so business coaching is more along the lines of assessing your talent and helping you acquire the right talent and making sure you have the talent there to support your business model.
Listening to John Waechter on Tucson Business Radio X in our Impact Special. Thanks to sponsors from Impact of Southern Arizona and, of course, the Miranda Chamber. Now, let's talk then about, you touched on this actually during business coaching, but behavioral assessments. How does that come into play? Well,
basically, what behavioral assessments do, and there are a lot of them, and I'm familiar with several, but I'm only quote unquote certified in the predictive index. But there's Myers-Briggs, and there's DISC, and there's all kinds of there's Omnian criteria, and there's all kinds of assessments out there, and they're all somewhat similar, but I believe predictive indexes is a little more effective in the sense that it uses data, a data-driven approach to kind of find out how, where your brain was at birth. In other words, what drives you from a data standpoint. And there's four major drives, and that's dominance, extroversion, patience, and formality. And so there's no good, bad, right, or wrong, but everybody has a data point on the continuum of each of those drives from low to high. And so, and that's what makes us all kind of different.
No, yeah, well, as my grandmother used to say, thank God for horse racing, because it'd be pretty boring if we all were the same, wouldn't it?
That's right, exactly right.
Yeah.
And so what we try to do from a business coaching standpoint is we try to make sure that clients understand the need for diversity of thought and diversity of ideas and business approaches with various levels of creativity, and the behavioral assessments allow us to make sure that a company or a department or even a group or even a solopreneur with a network group, he or she has got enough diversity in problem solving, and how dominant they might be or how collaborative they might be. We put a measuring stick on all of that, and we come up with some unique personalities that can work together and solve business problems for our clients.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You dig deep. You really cover a lot of stuff. These are in weekly classes, really. When I say live, we're talking about live on Zoom. They can be live. Were live, all as a group together before the pandemic, of course. You don't consider this business of being 10 feet apart in the same room type thing. That you can't do that. You'd prefer to do it online.
No, we want to get back to classes, social distance. We want to support the CDC guidelines and all that, and we're actively looking for places that will allow that. And so, but the problem is when it comes to physical locations, hardly anybody is really opening up spaces at this time, especially spaces that are affordable, and not a big room in a restaurant that expects you to come in and buy 20 meals, that kind of thing. So we're trying to be cost effective about it, but we plan to be back into the live classroom session. And oh, by the way, they've all been live streamed ever since day one. So,
in fairness, and you talk about restaurants that way, it doesn't make you sound. You don't charge an awful lot of money for this particular thing that you do in the Don Zavas curriculum, do you?
No, correct. We've got a lot of very complimentary services that we provide. We also have programs that start at $50 a month, called our Class Pass. We have also the Business Builder program that is $200 a month, that basically supports the personal one-on-one coaching, as well as accountability partnerships and all of our social media stuff that people can have access to on a complimentary basis, as well as the weekly live classroom training that is essentially for clients, but we tend to be quite liberal in how we open that up to people who want to come in and just learn for a couple of sessions for sure.
All right, John, if anybody's listening now that would like to, follow this through, what are all the connection points now to be able to get in touch with you and the Don Zavas organization?
Well, you can easily search for me on LinkedIn and just type my name, John Waechter, Waechter, and I will pop right up, connect with me, and I will reach out to you forthwith. You can call me at 520-370-8232, and we can talk about how we can help you or your business or your friend's business or whatever situation that you want to try and tackle. And I also, you can email me at jwwaechter@comcast.net. And so, or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram account or just go into any of those platforms and search and reach out, and I should pop up somewhere. But the phone call, 520-370-8232, that's the fastest, the easiest.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Still a good old phone, 520-370-8232. 832 to get in touch with John Waechter, okay, for the Don Zavis sales training curriculum and all the wonderful stuff that comes with a great small business training. If you're just starting out, you couldn't go wrong. Then they don't charge the earth, and you've got years and years of experience between the guys to be able to put you on the right track. It's been a pleasure, John. Thanks for your sponsorship, and thanks for taking time out to chat with us.
Well, thank you, Mark, and thank you for putting this program together with the Marana Chamber. It was really, we were honored to be a part of it, and it was for a great cause, the Community Food Bank, the Food Bank for Impact, and we're just proud to be a part of it, and thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye now.
Bye.
My second guest coming out of the wonderful thank you from Impact Arizona, the directory that we did, which raised money for Impact Food Bank and in association with the Marana Chamber and various sponsors on that. And I'm fortunate to have an Arizona native with over 28 years of experience in office management, including human resources and full charge bookkeeping. It's welcome to Leanne Roberts, Vice President of Dependable Personnel.
Good morning, Mark.
Nice to have you. Thank you for giving us some time, and thank you for your sponsorship. Leanne,
Sure.
Most of your experience was in the construction industry, right? Tell us about that.
Well, I started a career early on in construction. It was kind of a fluke. Happened to be at a friend's parents' construction company one day, and his mother was attempting to learn payroll, how to do payroll. And I was standing over the accountant's shoulder watching him do it and asking a lot of questions. And she turned around to me and she said, "Do you want to do this?" And I said, "Sure." And it turned into a 12-year job. So
Wow. Just like that.
And yeah, and he turned, the accountant ended up not just teaching me payroll, but he taught me how to keep books, and he taught me accounting. And from there, I took classes and I expanded on my education and learned as much as I could, and was there for 12 years. And pretty much, even after I left there, I stayed in construction. I went to a restoration company for a while and did the books and office management for them as well. And then took a little break and went into medical billing and coding and wanted to try something different, and taught some construction industry accounting software. And
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So one sort of led into another. When did you actually arrive at Dependable Personnel?
In 2017, Judy, my partner, and I met, and I was looking for a new opportunity, and I had known Judy for quite some time and knew what Dependable was about. And she gave me an opportunity to grow the business and become a partner. And I'm really fortunate to have been able to assist our community in helping obtain community members and employees prosperous employment and providing small business owners with payroll and keeping services. And this really allows us to, help the employers and employees to focus on what they do best by, us doing the recruiting and, managing employees and doing the payroll and bookkeeping. So it's really been a great job. I've really enjoyed it.
So what's the history of Dependable, Leanne?
Well, we originated in 1994. Judy started the company. She'd been a legal secretary for 20 years and moved into staffing legal offices. And that's kind of where it started. The original mission was to assist the Tucson legal community in their staffing needs. Our focus was to expand, also serving, the Tucson corporate community, small businesses, and to help them to staff their offices with administrative employees. We've recently extended our services to include payroll and bookkeeping as well.
That's good. So what was the focus of the firm? Was it to stay a certain size?
I think we've remained small. We're specialized. We definitely have our niche. We're locally owned and operated as well as woman-owned. And Dependable is personnel is committed to providing personalized services to both our clients and our job seekers. And, our focus, our goal is to make exemplary matches that last. We pride ourselves on thoroughly screening our prospective job seekers and ensuring that our clients' specific requirements are met.
So what types of business do you market to then?
Well, obviously the legal community. We have a really strong relationship with the legal community, and small businesses. Those 1 to 10 employee businesses where the owners are focused on their business, and hiring employees is not always a strong suit for them. I mean, it takes a lot of time. They have to. They have to recruit, they have to put the ad in, they have to interview, they have to sort through resumes. It takes a lot of time to hire an employee. And that's where we can come in, because we can do that for them. And it saves them a lot of time. And then they only have to, interview maybe 2 or 3 choices.
Mm-hmm.
And so that saves them a lot of time and lets them focus on what they do best.
Yeah, well, the old adage saying, time is money. And for
yes,
for a small business, it's surprising, the time it takes out of a day having to do all of that. So it's good when someone professionally just takes that right off your hands. So what services do you offer overall then?
So we offer temporary services. So if there's somebody, you've got a project, or you just need somebody's going on vacation, that sort of thing. We also offer a temp to hire, which is a 30-day placement. It's a 90-day placement. And at the end of that 90 days, if they want to keep that person, they can just transfer them over to their payroll. So, it's kind of like a try before you buy sort of scenario. You get to
that's a good idea.
You get to have them, you get to have them working for you for 90 days and see how, and then go from there.
Is there a percentage sort of thing that comes out of your industry where, I don't know what you call it, what the correct terminology is, but, they had a shot for 90 days and you liked them so much you wanted to keep them? Does that happen?
All the time. All the time. A lot of our clients, that's what they're intending to do. They're wanting to find that perfect employee. And so, with the temp to hire, they really get time to work with that person and see if it's not only a good match personality wise, if they're a good fit with other employees, if they are as knowledgeable as we say they are, and can really do a good job for them. So it gives them a little time to really work on that.
You have a very interesting, role to play. There's psychology involved. There's good judgment, business judgment. I mean, you know your world and you know what you want to provide, and you do have to get to know the potential employee. Do you let them know at all, or is it best not to, sort of thing where, look, you play your cards right with this and, you could end up with a permanent job here? Or is it better that the person who's wanting to hire from you, finds that out for themselves?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's a combination on both sides. I really feel like we do a really good job in the beginning of qualifying our candidates for the company, for the employer, and making sure that they have the skill set that they're looking for, and that they have it's a good fit personality wise. And I spend a lot of time talking to our prospective candidates and finding out what their hopes and dreams and desires and skill sets are before even attempting to match them somewhere. And on the other side, I mean, the clients, the employer really wants to make sure that this person they don't want to be retraining and doing it over and over and over again. Nobody does. So on a temp to hire, the idea is to make sure that in the first round that they're getting the person that they really, really are looking for. That's the ultimate goal. Does it always work? No. But, sometimes personalities just clash, and there's,
Yeah,
and it may be,
it's human nature, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
so I think overall that's our strong suit, is really being able to find the perfect match for somebody.
Well, I guess it must be a thrill for you when the phone rings, you pick it up, and it's a client that you've got somebody in, put somebody in for 90 days, and they ring up and say, oh, Leanne, I'm so impressed with this person. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. It must give you a buzz,
It does. It does. When it works out really well. And I have to say, I'm usually fairly confident that it's going to in the get-go. Recently, we just had this scenario. Somebody was looking for a new legal secretary, and she'd had some bad experiences with previous employees, and she had what she refers to as a little PTSD. She was hesitant to have somebody new come in, and I immediately had the perfect match for her. I knew this was going to be just a perfect situation. And she had me send her in as a temp, and she'll be starting with the company at the end of the month. So
that's good.
And it worked out really well, and those are very exciting times. I mean, it does make you feel good that you've made two people very happy.
Yeah. And I mean, your client gets faith in human nature again,
Yes, they do.
So I'm speaking with Leanne Roberts, Vice President of Dependable Personnel. Now, what types of positions do you staff altogether?
Primarily administrative and clerical. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is the fact that all of our staff have to have a minimum of 1 year's professional office experience. So we don't necessarily we don't place anybody that has not already had that year's experience in an office setting, and that's really important to us because when we send a temp in, they need to have an understanding of administrative tasks.
But is a year enough? Tasks. Is a year enough, Leanne?
I think it depends on the position. That's just a starting point. As a front desk or receptionist, yes, I think that can be enough. Obviously, we have staff that has 20 years of legal experience. We have staff that have 5 years of legal experience, and that is usually the time frame for secretarial and legal assistant positions that they're looking for is that minimum of 3 years of experience. 3 to 5 years of experience. So, it really varies depending on the client. But I think for a lot of temporary positions where it's just a front desk or a receptionist type position, I think that year's professional office experience is enough.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and you've experienced over many years of business. That position is the gateway, isn't it, often to a company? And it can be so wrong or so right. And by gee, I've met a few in my life where I just want to turn around and walk out again. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. And it's important, when you have that person on the front desk to make sure that not only do they look professional, but they need to sound professional. They need to. Oh, yes. They need to have some confidence when they're answering that phone, and they need to come across with that kind of attitude and demeanor. So, like I said, the hiring process and our processes of screening are pretty in depth. Actually, up until recently, anyway, I was still meeting with every potential candidate face to face.
Right. Now, that was going to be another question. What happens to your style of business during this pandemic? How do you handle it now?
Well, again, we've converted to phone interviews. I haven't had to do a FaceTime or Skype or anything like that or Zoom yet, but that is certainly an option. A lot of the candidates I'm getting are people coming back to us, so I'm already familiar with them and already know them well. And they've either been laid off or have decided not to work temporarily or whatever. So I've been fortunate in that regard that a lot of them are repeat candidates, and so I already know them well. But we've resorted to phone interviews and doing more things online for sure.
I guess you have to. Everybody's had to adapt, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do look forward to the time when I can go back to in person, though. I really enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? I miss it terribly. My studio is normally in the Stewart Title building on Broadway. Their corporate offices there, where Tucson Business Radio X is. And I miss all the crew. You know, I miss all just the good mornings and the hellos on my way to the studio and chatting and visitors that come in. And working from home is just not the same for me, I tell you now. I like people.
It's certainly not been the same for us either. But I look forward to getting back to that time.
Yeah, something to look forward to. So let me ask you this. What sets you apart, do you think, from your competitors?
Well, I think most importantly, that we are locally owned. My partner Judy and I are the contact people. You know who you're going to talk to. It's that personal service. You know who you're going to get when you call in, and I think that is huge. Some of the larger national companies, they have multiple salespeople and multiple recruiters and things of that nature. So I think our size is definitely an advantage. And I think, again, being locally owned and really specializing in our niche sets us apart for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing is that a lot of companies, and I'm not saying that they all do it, but a lot of companies, there's a fee after the temp to hire. So the employee's with the company for 90 days, and if you want to keep them, you now have to pay a fee. We don't have that fee.
Oh.
At the end of 90 days, they are yours. We're happy that they have a job, and we're happy that you like them, and that is enough. We don't have any additional fees. So I think that certainly sets us apart from our competitors as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, local is good, and you can get to meet them and so on more. And screening, I guess, is important. How do you actually screen your candidates?
Oh, boy. So because we're not doing face-to-face at the moment, which, like I said, I really miss.
Yeah.
I am doing phone interviews, and we also do skills testing. So, in administrative and clerical, obviously typing speed is important.
Yes.
Accuracy is important. Grammar skills are very important. Grammar and spelling.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a list of assessments that we have them do. And then again, the face-to-face interviews, or what used to be face-to-face interviews.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the screening is about, their skill set and things of that nature. Obviously, we do background checks and things of that nature as well. But I think it's also really important to screen to make sure that you understand what that candidate is looking for. So
yeah, that's important too, isn't it? What they're looking for.
Yeah. What kind of job? Not, they have a skill set in a particular arena, but are they really happy in that arena? I mean, you don't want to send somebody in who's
miserable.
Says, yes, I need a job, so I'm going to take it, but it's not really what I want. So I really sit down with them and try to pull out of them what it is they really, really, really want to do.
Right. Yeah.
So that we can place them in the appropriate spot.
Well, I think that's very smart. I mean, a happy person in a job is going to be, it comes out of them a lot more happier in their role, in what they're doing, and therefore the client would be happy. Do you train them at all on, because so important, as we talked about before, we touched on about being, the gateway to the industry, the first impression of the company that you're dealing with. Some of them are so slow, I've come across, on taking a call, getting you to hold at the front desk, getting back to the person on the phone, handling you. I mean, it's an art, isn't it?
It is an art. And, that's not something necessarily that we can train in, but it's something that I can screen for.
Mm.
So, how they answer the phone when I call them, can tell me how they're going to answer a phone at a business.
Okay.
How they sound, how they react to questions. All of those things are part of that screening process. So it's important that I talk to them on the phone as much as I talk to them in person, because I want to know if they're applying for a receptionist position. I want to know what they're going to sound like and how they're going to talk to somebody. And so that is not necessarily training, but definitely a screening process.
Let me ask you this. What attracted you in the first place to Dependable Personnel? When that question came around, I really thought to myself, what did attract me to it? And I think that, well, first of all, I adore Judy, my business partner. She's been great all around. I came into this business with pretty much no legal experience. So I mean, although I had human resources experience, I didn't really understand the legal terminology and, things of that nature. And she was great in teaching me all of those things. And she's been a great mentor regardless in this business. And, the experiences that I had with Dependable before coming on were just also positive. The staff that was there at the time and the helpfulness. And for me, it was I have a very helper personality. So I always want to be that person that's helping somebody and trying to make sure that somebody is taken care of and happy. And this was a great way. This was a great opportunity for me to continue to help people. And I just felt like, between Judy's mentorship and the way that she was with employees and the way that she was with clients, it would just be a great fit for me. And it's turned out very well. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's like what you try and help, your potential employees with, making them happy in their role and the jobs they go to. It's very much so. That's good. You're a good soul. We talk of Judy. You. What is Judy's last name?
Judy Warren.
Judy Warren, okay. And she's the president, I take it, of Dependable Personnel. Okay.
Yep.
I got one here for you. Why did you expand into bookkeeping and payroll?
Well, honestly, it just made sense. I have been doing, Judy's been doing books as well for as many years as I have, if not more. And, we do payroll quite frequently. And it just made sense to expand into that arena. There's a lot of small business owners who don't have that expertise. And again, with the staffing, it's the same thing. It's not what they do best, and they need somebody to do it. And being a smaller business, cost is important. And so it just made sense for us to expand on what we were already doing and offer those services to them as well.
Very good. Leanne Roberts, Vice President of Dependable Personnel. Before we go, one last thing, just out of left field. If you were to somebody was listening now and they'd like to approach you, even the way things are, looking for a job or looking for a career, or maybe it's a client who's thinking, who are we going to find us something? What would you advise from either side of the fence? What's your best advice you could give?
Well, if you're a candidate, the first step is to make sure that you get together a good resume. And that is something else that we can do. When people send me resumes and I really like the candidate, a lot of times we'll go through and revise it to make it more effective, because sometimes people's resumes get really, really long. So we can help with that as well. So I think the first thing candidates need to think about is their resume and what they want it to say, and proofreading it is extremely important. Making sure that it's well written. And from the client perspective, I think the first thing is just to give me a call. Tell me what you're looking for. And let's have a conversation about what your needs are, what you're looking for. I have done I've done some recruiting outside of administrative and clerical. We've had we've placed a few salespeople and things like that. And that's a little different for me, but I'm always willing to look outside the box and help somebody find truly that perfect employee. So I suggest just giving me a call and let's have a conversation.
Fantastic. Another thank you from Impact in our special. That was Leanne Roberts from Dependable Personnel, in fact, Vice President of Dependable Personnel. Great speaking with you, and no doubt your company's successful, and keep it up, won't you, no matter what?
Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you very much indeed.
All right. You have a good one.
Goodbye now.
Bye.